Alright, hello. This is going to be a Diablo 2 Eastern Sun Rises Hardcore, or GameOn edition. So if we go to single player, we could just go to Barbarian. So we're level 92, we're just about level 93. We've been leveling a little bit, we've been leveling off camera. We got to level 90 to 92 in that other stream, because we've been streaming, because we're like, if we're playing most of the day, we might as well stream, because we figured that out. Because it took like 6 hours to figure out how to go streaming. But if we release this patch, so I think everything's done pretty much. We figured out everything, because the magic find prefixes, we thought that they spawned a bit too often, because we changed them, and then we were kind of testing them by going to the shop and then seeing how much they spawned on items. Seem to spawn pretty often, so we just lowered it a little bit. We might change it, but we haven't really tested it too much. So ES Rises GameOn Edition version 1.0d, so cube recipe changes. So all class craft +1 class recipes work with all weapons. Remove the class craft non-class weapon recipes. So that's like a huge thing. So if you go to crafting recipes, you go to new craft. And if you wanted to create a barbarian craft, so basically all of these class crafts, it gives you +1 to the class skills. That's the main thing that it gives you. And you go to magic weapon, you'd have to forge it with only the barbarian weapon. So that was the problem. So we finally fixed it. If we go to, if we just go to weapons here. And then we go to Barbarian. So if you wanted to craft a super sick Barbarian sword with +1 to skills and some more attack speed and some more damage, you couldn't do it. The only thing you could do is this one-handed throwing axe. One-handed throwing axe. And then same for the Druid. The only thing you could enchant was the one-handed one club. So if you were looking at this website and you're trying to craft this thing, you could use any weapon with it now. So you could throw like a spear, you could throw a sword in there, you could throw a pole axe or a maul, and it would work. And same with the Druid, right? The Druid, you could only do it with that one Druid weapon. Now you could do it with any Druid weapon. You could make a Druid pole axe or a Druid axe or something. So that opened up that. Same for all of the classes. All of the classes, they can do this with any weapon. So you could make the +1 skills any weapon. So when we were looking at it, this doesn't really line up with anything. It doesn't line up with the class crafts, and it just takes away a little bit, I think. Maybe we'll add it in some other way, but for now, this thing isn't even possible. It's just this one. Yeah, because the paladin, you can only use it on the one paladin weapon, although the one paladin weapon is pretty good, actually. And then we changed some other things. Lowered all unique items, set items, prefixes, suffixes, gems, runes with a level requirement 9 or lower to level 1. So it's pretty much like anything in the game, any items, any runes, anything that required level 9 or lower, now you could actually use them. Because if we do go to the rune words here, well, we go to the runes, right? You could actually use any of these on the character. So if we're looking at the runes, rune words, just gems and runes. So let's look at this one first. So these are all of the first tier runes. So even the first rune requires level 2, second one requires level 3, level 4, 5, 6, 7, and level 9. So now all of these runes just require level 1. Just because the first part, because we're always trying to craft low-level items, we're trying to craft low-level sets, and then we're trying to, it's like, these stats require level 3, so you can only craft a level 3 set, and then the stats require level 5, and then there's a level 9 set. So instead of doing that, all these require level 1, so all of these rune words, which would require level in between 2 to 9 before, you could just use them at level 1, try to figure out which one. They probably all do different things. Usually the stone one's really good, just that it required level 3 all the time, so it just takes that out. So you could literally take these and put them on a level 1 character now. So that'll just help out for gearing new characters and give you more interesting sets for gearing new characters with. Yeah, same with all the unique items. So if there's a unique item that required level 5, or if it required level 7 or something, you don't have to plan it out. Same with these sets. If there was a set that required like level 3, requires level 1 now. Just because level 1 through level 9 happens so quick anyways. So that's that done. Prefixes. Gloves, belts, boots can now also get a +1 to all skills at level 30. So we're just trying that just because the prefix is, if you go to, oh, it's right here, knowledgeable. You get +1 to skills on weapons, ring, amulets, and armors, except for the gloves, boots, and belts. So we took this out, so now gloves, boots, and belts can get +1 to skills. So it's just another modifier, just another stat that you get on those 3 items now that you couldn't before. So just another stat to chase. And then all worn items can now get +2 to all skills at level 60. So that's what the alpha did in the Eastern Sun Rises mod. He added +2. He said +2. You get a +2 to all skills on only the torso piece. You can only get +2 to skills on only the torso piece. So then we made it so you could get it on the everything. So now you can get it on everything. And it was a level 67 requirement before. Now it's level 60. So we're just trying to make level 60 be one of the most expensive sets. One of the higher leveled sets. Maybe some of these stats will stay at 75 or something. But if it's level 60, it just allows your characters to use it a little bit earlier. That's pretty much all it does. Now we moved the Magic Find prefixes to all worn equipment, and then we removed the Magic Find prefix. So we had it on all of them, and then we realized since we buffed this one and we buffed the other one, and they spawn so often, we could just completely get rid of this one. So it was up here, right? Magic items. Yes, this one. It was only 12% to 20%, and it took up one of your prefix stats. So it would be that one that would give you a little bit of Magic Find. We did buff it to 20% and 40% originally. Although, once we made the prefixes, once we've been looking at it in game, we actually realized we don't really need them anymore. So if you go here to the Magic Find one for the suffixes, prefixes, we're looking for suffixes. Suffixes don't have all the plus skills. Suffixes are different things, different stats. Oh, the chance to cast on striking, that's right, we made that so that could go on everything. So that would definitely open up some new builds into the game. All these things are just to open up new builds to the game. It's pretty much the whole reason behind this. So this was 20% gold, 40% gold, 60% gold, and we changed the level here. We changed this to like 15, 30, and 45, the affix level. Requirement level was like level 1 of 15, level 30. Character level, requirements level, no, they're all level 1. That's right, we got rid of them. We did that just at the end. Character level, all of these require level 1, so a level 1 character could use these stats. And we increased the Magic Find to 20% and 40% and 60%, exactly like the gold is. We also moved this one to its own suffix pool. So the best possible item would be to just get like a 60% gold, 60% Magic Find, plus this one could get up to 40% Magic Find, 40% gold. So it's the same for both of them. It's 21% to 40% for both of those. So you would have to roll all 3 of these stats, but then you would have 100% gold find, 100% magic find. Just because they're all the uniques and the sets and the rune words and everything, they give such ridiculous magic find. We thought we would probably just add this just so that you can get some rares to compete with them. Just so you're not always using the rune words and that one set and then some of the unique items. Now you can make a cool, crazy, rare magic find set that could have up to 100% magic find, 100% gold find, plus you could roll with plus 2 character skills on it, right? So that's all that done. So move chance to cast suffixes to all worn equipment. Yeah, because with thing, we're just trying it. We've seen it spawned a whole bunch of on items, so we're gonna have to try it in game, see if it works. But well, see if it's a good idea or not. But the chance to cast Fireball, Chain Lightning, Frozen Orb, Glacial Spike, you could only find these on weapons, so you'd only have this on one. They could roll with both of these stats, right? It could have one of these and one of these, but then that would be all of the chance to cast on striking you could get. So we just moved these to everything, so you could find it on weapons, armors, rings, amulets, and then craft your own chance to cast set. So it does take from your other skills, right? If you were getting these, you're not getting like health or whatever the other things are. And we also moved these ones, the chance to cast when struck. So we moved all of these to everything too. So when you are struck, you could get a when struck weapons, armor, rings, and amulets. So that should open up some new builds too. You could get them with all three of them, right? Yeah, actually 3 separate pools. So you get like you could get something with like 3 chance to cast things on it. It would have like what, 9% chance to cast chain lightning on striking, and then like a 7% chance to cast immolation on striking, and then it would have a 7% chance to cast a static field when struck, or ice nova, or immolation, or something like that. So you could have one rare item with 3 different chance to cast on it. So it's a cool new item that has been introduced to the game. That's like every single piece of gear. We don't know if it's gonna work, but it does open up new chance to cast builds. And then we moved the magic find suffixes to all worn equipment. So we said that we found you could find magic find, gold find, 100% of both of them. You could find weapons, armor, rings, and amulets. So you could find a really sick magic gold find weapon and sick magic gold find every armor set, rings, and amulets. It was just mainly boots and amulets before, just boots and amulets, maybe circlets. And then we already talked about changing those rich suffixes. So there's version 1.0d. So we actually uploaded it. So we'll probably release this one, and then we'll probably try to get to level 93. Thinking of trying to get to level 94 as well. We've just been farming in hell difficulty on player 7. So the only problems we have is when we're amplified damage and the enemies have a might aura, or if there's a fanaticism aura. Basically we just stand back and then we watch to make sure there's no might or fanaticism aura. If there is, then we have to essentially kite them back and then take them a little bit slower, or leave the game. One of the games we had like 165 hit points, so we almost lost the character. We saved and exited. So we learned our lesson. Stay away from the might auras. You can still die in this game. But this has been released. So you can now play Diablo 2 Eastern Sun Rises version 1.0d. It has all the other changes, right? So all the ones from before, the other videos, lister's been changed. You can find all of the uniques and sets were added to the game. Is that version 1.0b or something? Because we added all of the original set items and all of the original unique items. So if you find a set item in the world, it could be one of the new powerful sets, or it could be one of the old weak sets, like this one, which usually requires level 2, but now it requires level 1, so that's amazing. Or you could find, if you're searching for any of the unique items, very cool, we found the unique chess piece we were looking for, but little do you know, it's actually the older, weaker chess piece. Actually, it's not old, not weaker, right? This one's really good for melee characters. The new one's really good for spellcasters. Except for these sets, right? If you're searching for sets, you could find the terrible old sets, or you could find the new improved set. So we'll figure out what to do with the old sets. The old sets just seem really underpowered. Maybe we'll find some way to improve them.